Hey guys, how you doing today? Welcome to the video, and today I'm actually going to show you the best graphical settings on PC for the Modern Warfare 2 beta that'll give you the highest frames possible. If you're anything like me, you've been searching through YouTube trying to find a video that'll work for you for the best settings, and I don't know, some of them just don't work. So I've kind of gone through tons of videos, taken like what makes sense out of those, and then had to go on my own in the settings and tweak what worked for me. And I had to do stuff that wasn't even in the game just to get this to work as well as it does. But let me give you an idea. I was getting about 120 to 130 frames, and now I'm getting between 190 and 210. So that should be a pretty big incentive to follow this because it was huge. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is not even be in the game. You're actually going to want to just make sure you go to your graphics card software, just whatever, updates it. And you're going to want to update your driver. This is, NVIDIA. If you have an NVIDIA card, you go to the GeForce Experience to update your driver. I don't know what it's like on AMD cards because I've never had one, but if you have an AMD card, you should know how to update it. If not, you can just Google it. But yeah, so update your driver. Secondary after that, I highly recommend that you go to your Windows settings and you go to update here. And I believe this will be an update in security on Windows 10. I'm on Windows 11. That's why it looks a little different. But just check your updates and make sure it's all up to date because I wasn't. And for some reason, the game was trying to use my CPU to render way more than my GPU. And it was because I had an update that wasn't compatible or something. And once I got it all set, it was working just fine. Next, you're actually going to want to go to, I'll leave a link for this down in the description. It's to Windows, like Microsoft website, where they have a new version of DirectX. You can install and make sure it's up to date. DirectX is pretty much like what just drives graphics, your graphics card uses it. Just select English and click download. It'll change the page and you'll have it here. Just click the setup, run it, and install it. And there's no complications to that. It'll just install a fresh version of DirectX on your computer. Next thing you're actually going to want to do is right click your desktop, right? And go to your NVIDIA control panel and pull that up. Oh, there it is. And you're going to want to manage 3D settings and go to program settings. Okay. Now Modern Warfare 2 is not going to be on here. Okay. But to add it, you're just going to click add, browse. And then you're going to want to go to your local disk, whatever the game's installed on. Go to Program Files x86 and then go down to where it says just Call of Duty and then click Beta. And then this is where the beta is installed, but this is the application itself, the one that says just COD application. Click that and open it and it'll add it to this list for you. And then you want to scroll down just a little, CUDA GPUs, click that and make sure this is set to use these GPUs and select your graphics card. Press OK. And then you don't want to go down again right here, OpenGL rendering GPU, click this and make sure this is definitely set to your graphics card right here. And then power management mode, prefer maximum performance, apply all those. And now you're actually all set in this menu right here. So you can close out of that. The next thing I want you guys to do is go to your start menu and type in graphics. And you should get this in your settings, graphics settings. Open this up here, right? And I have Call of Duty right here, but you're going to want to browse the list once again and go to your local disk drive, programs x86, Call of Duty, beta. Click on this application and add it. Mine's already added, but you're going to want to click it and then go to options and make sure high performance is selected for this game. So save that and make sure that's all set. Now you can close out of that. And finally, the last thing to do is go again to your start menu and type in power. Click choose a power plan and make sure that under your power plans, you can drop this arrow. There might be more under here. You want to select high performance. Some computers have ultra performance or whatever. It just depends on what you have in your computer. Just make sure you click the highest performance power plan. It uses a little bit more of your power supply, but it greatly increases the performance of your games and things you're doing in your computer. So make sure high performance is selected. So yeah, X out of that. And now that all those settings are covered on your computer and all that's set, you're going to go actually into the game now, finally. And you're going to want to go to your settings and graphics. And this is where we're going to be for a while. Okay. So first things first, display mode. Make sure this is on full screen. I'm only on full screen borderless just for the purpose of making the video. It's easier for me to tab in and out of the game. But yeah, make sure it's set to full screen and apply that. Next, constrain mouse to game window. That doesn't matter at all. Display monitor, you know, you just want your main monitor displayed wherever you're playing. Your display adapter, make sure your graphics card is selected. Dynamic resolution we have off. Aspect ratio 16:9 on regular size monitors. If you're playing on an ultra wide monitor, it's going to be a different width. I don't know what those are, but they have different selectable ones here. Worst case, if you don't know, just click automatic and it'll select for you. VSync, both these off. Custom frame rate limit. In game, so my monitor is a 240 hertz monitor, so gameplay I have it set to 240. If you have a 144 or a 360, set it to what that value is. In the menu, I have it set to 60, and out of focus, which is when you tab out, I have it set to 30 frames. Reason being is just because, like, in the menu, you don't need your graphics card going crazy trying to like get frames in a menu. It makes no sense. And when you tab out, you don't want your computer using lots of resources. So yeah, just set those values and be all set. Display gamma 2.2 is just fine. Brightness, this doesn't affect your graphics at all, but it does help visibility in the map. I set it to 55. I think that's a really good value. But yeah, just a little heads up on that if you guys want to use it. Next, focus mode. This basically just blacks out your other monitors if you have them, which is pointless. So I wouldn't even use that. Next, go to quality. So now this is where things are going to get a little different. This render resolution was set different because my game likes to change my settings every time I fucking close it. So I have a custom quality preset. Render resolution should always be at 100, which is just what your regular resolution of your monitor is. Some people are using NVIDIA DLSS, right? You can use it if you'd like. I used it and I actually got 15 to 20 frames less than I think I should have. It was not as effective as for me at least, that it should be. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to be like that for everybody, but you know, you kind of got to try it to see. If you're going to use it and you want frames, click it and go to ultra performance. It'll black all this out because these settings are what it's going to screw with. But me personally, I have it off and I'm going to give you the settings that I use and I think were great. So like I said, custom, make sure this is at 100. NVIDIA DLSS is off. And let me explain this real quick. So SMAA2 T2X, for the first time in like ever, they actually don't allow you to shut off anti-aliasing in your game. And anti-aliasing, if you don't know what it is, if there's like a line going like this, because games and visuals are made of pixels, they can look jaggedy. So anti-aliasing smooths those out, but it puts a little bit of stress on your graphics card, drops your frames a little, and it makes things look blurry. And I like things looking sharp, so I always prefer to shut it off, but they don't give me that option. So I choose the lowest value of anti-aliasing there is, SMAA T2X. And what this does here, so Fidelity FX Cast, you can turn this on if you like. I play with it off. I keep it at 50. What it does is it's pretty much like a sharpen filter. It puts it on your game and sharpens it up, so it looks like you have anti-aliasing off. Personally, I notice a frame drop when I'm using this. It's not a lot, but I prefer more frames, so I just keep it off. But if you would like your game to look a little sharper, you can surely turn this on. It's like a 10 to 12 frame drop, okay? And it's situational. It's not all the time, but I just prefer the highest frames, so I just keep it off. So yeah, that's my settings. That's what I use. Next, nearby level of detail. I have this set to high because this doesn't impact like your graphics card at all, but it does make things near you look good, which I prefer. So definitely keep that on high. Texture resolution, I have this set to normal, right? And you can see the difference between normal and low is about 700-ish value megabytes on my VRAM and my graphics card. Normal, okay, when you put things on low, they start to look a little bit like Play-Doh, okay? And I do like some detail when I'm playing. It helps differentiate things. So I keep it on normal. If you are not getting the frames you'd like, you could try low. I would never try very low because it looks mad like Play-Doh. But low, definitely give it a go if you want more frames. But if not, normal's just fine. Trust me on that. Now, texture, filter, anisotropic, and particle quality, keep those on high. These have little, like pretty much no effect on your graphics card at all, but they're just good for the game. And particle quality in previous COD titles has actually been known to raise your FPS the higher value you have it on. So we don't know if it's the same for this COD, but I would assume it is, so that's why I have it on. So yeah, both those set to high. Bullet impacts and sprays, this does not affect your graphics card. If it does, it's so little you'd never notice, but it's pretty much just preference. I like to have it on because I like seeing the bullet holes and stuff. Shader quality, I have this on low. Tessellation and on-demand texture streaming, keep those both off. You don't need them. And then under texture streaming, the streaming quality, you can also have that set to low. Even though your texture streaming is set to off, I still set it to low just in case. Next, under shadow and lighting, shadow map resolution. So I actually have this set to low. I don't know why it blanks that out. It's set to low, right? So if you set it to very low, okay, so very low looks terrible, but low looks a little bit above terrible. And there's not really a big hit to your graphics card, so I highly recommend running this at low. You're not gonna get like any FPS boost out of putting it on very low, so I would just keep it on low. Spot shadow quality, put that on low as well. Now these two settings, optional. I'm gonna give you guys the option. You can have them on, you can have them off. What they do is it pretty much saves spot shadows on the maps that you're playing on, and it keeps them in your RAM, which means it's supposed to do less graphically like resource demanding on your graphics card. But for me, I don't actually experience FPS boost out of having them on like I feel like you should, so I keep them off. But you guys are gonna have to try that out on your own and see if it works best for you. This is the thing, like I said, it might vary, so give those a try. I keep them off personally, but you can give them a go. Particle lighting, you set to normal. There's no difference between like any of these values I see, so I just keep it on normal because it just doesn't impact anything, so you're all set on that. Ambient occlusion and SSR I have off completely, so I would actually just keep both those off. They don't really do much for you in game, so yeah, keep them off and you're gonna get a good boost from that. NVIDIA Reflex low latency on plus boost. See, now this also varies as well, because so some people see better frames from having it just on. Some people see better frames on plus boost. I would say probably the majority of people on plus boost is better frames, but there are some who get better performance from just on. So you're gonna have to give both those a try as well. Me I have an RTX 2080 Ti and i9 9900K. So just for the example, for me, on plus boost works best, but it could work different for you. So give both those a try. Depth of field, world motion blur, weapon motion blur, all those off. And then film grain I have set to 0, as it does not do anything for you. You apply those settings and then go to view at the top. FOV, I would just recommend having this always cranked up if you have the option, because everyone is going to be playing with high FOV. And if you're not, you're kind of constrained to not seeing as much. People are going to zip by you and you're not even going to know. So just keep that on high FOV. It's going to use a little bit more frames, because you're seeing more technically, you know, but it's well worth it to keep it at 120. ADS field of view, I just have that set to affected. This now this setting, I tried it myself. Weapon field of view, having it on wide makes your gun look smaller, but it looks wonky, and narrow looks wonky as well. But default, it's like it's always been, so I keep it on default. But I don't know, you might like it on wide or narrow. Just give those a go. Third person field of view, I have that cranked to 90 as well. But other than that, that's it. That is actually all of the settings we've got today. And that should be giving you the highest amount of frames you could possibly get in this game. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please let me know, leave a like, comment down below, and let me know if it worked for you guys or what settings you think might work better. And also let me know if you think it's kind of BS that we can't shut anti-aliasing off, because that really irks me like a lot. That's like a huge performance boost having it off. Anyway, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and take care. I'll see you in the next one.